Hi everyone, here's another scooter review. I'm going to introduce you to a scooter from the manufacturer called Isinwheel, which is a mid-range scooter. It has its advantages and very few disadvantages. I'll tell you all about these according to the usual schedule. So first comes the unboxing, assembly, specifications, and finally I'll share my experiences. So let's get started. Well, the unboxing and assembly are actually exactly the same as with all similar scooters. You don't even have to bother with attaching the fenders here. Everything is in place, so you won't have to do anything with it. All you have to do is put on the handlebar, screw in the handlebar stem, and basically the scooter is ready to use. Obviously, you have to deal with the brakes. You need to check everything, and you have to charge it and inflate the tires. So you really just have to take care of the fundamental maintenance tasks. But otherwise, the scooter will basically be ready for you to ride right away. With these scooters like the Isinwheel, you don't have to spend nearly as much time assembling and disassembling as you usually do with other Chinese scooters, because it has been built with a much simpler and highly efficient chassis. It's not the usual C-type chassis, which I personally don't really like anyway, so from this perspective there's a bit less hassle with assembly. But obviously it's still worth checking the screws here as well. If something is over-tightened, loosen it. If something isn't tightened, you need to tighten it. Wherever thread locker paste is missing, you need to add thread locker paste, and so on and so on and so on. So you definitely have to deal with all these things, get them done, and after that you can use the scooter with peace of mind. Specifications. Well, I'm going to talk about the more important things. The manufacturer says that this scooter has an 800-watt motor, which I'm not entirely sure about. I think that the 800 watts is probably the peak performance. I would rather estimate this scooter at around 500 watts, which isn't bad at all, but I'll talk more about this later. The battery isn't very big, its capacity is below 500 watt-hours, which doesn't seem like much, and in fact it really isn't. But if the motor is actually 500 watts, as I suspect, then this capacity matches a 500 watt motor quite well. Of course, the manufacturer specifies a relatively large range that can be achieved on a single charge. Here, that's almost 50 kilometers. No, you cannot cover 50 kilometers with this scooter. According to my own calculations, I can say that if you don't push it to the limit, you can achieve half of that distance or even a bit more. So I would estimate the achievable range to be around 25 to 28 kilometers. Of course, this also depends on your weight, the wind resistance, whether you have a tailwind or not, and whether there are any inclines. Whether there are a lot of red lights or not also matters. So it really depends on a lot of different factors, which is why I don't really like to specify a range, because it's very easy to be off and you might get completely different results than I do. The point is, the range promised by the manufacturer is not achievable, but I think that's the case with every scooter, and even with cars too. So I don't think anyone is surprised by this. It's also important to note that the wheels are 10 inches and have an off-road tread pattern. As I mentioned, it's important that it doesn't have a C-type suspension, but instead has regular shock absorbers both in the front and the back. This is very important. It's very important that it has disc brakes, of course, both in the front and the back. And that's basically the main point. And now I'm going to show you the rest like this. I'll walk around the scooter by hand and explain everything that's still missing from the specifications. And I'll also share my opinion about the scooter itself and its appearance. Okay, so let's take a look at this scooter from the outside. At first glance, I have to say it looks absolutely amazing. At least for me, I really like it. There's a really neat little structure, not too big, not too tall, so you don't need a stool to get on it. But I wouldn't call it small either. The footboard you stand on is relatively large and covered with rubber, so the anti-slip feature is really good. It's very important that the charging port is placed on the top here, not on the side where water could potentially get in. Here there's much less chance of water getting inside. We have a relatively large and sturdy heel support, onto which the two rear shock absorbers are screwed. As you can see, there's no C-type suspension at the back either, but rather a completely standard dual-sided shock absorption. The brake is of course a mechanical cable disc brake, but I don't think anyone would be surprised by that in this category. This brake is perfectly sufficient to stop the scooter from the factory set speed limit, that is from 25 kilometers per hour. We find the same type of brake on the front wheel as well. There's no difference here either. Returning to the rear wheel, I also want to show that we have a really good rear fender. This will prevent water from splashing up. We also have a rear light, but I'll analyze that in a moment when I talk about the lighting. Let's move to the front of the scooter instead and see that there is also a completely standard shock absorber here. The wheel is suspended on both sides, so this isn't the C-type suspension either, which for me is a huge plus. Oh, the shock absorber itself is not adjustable, but for a scooter like this, I don't think that's expected anyway. And now let's jump up to the handlebars and see what we find here. On the left side, there's the grip. Of course, we have a brake lever, and there's a set of buttons here. On the button cluster, you have the light switch. The level of pedal assistance can be adjusted, while the strength of the drive can be adjusted. Power button, horn button, and a dedicated function button. Besides that, what's really, really interesting, and I think turned out really well, is this turn signal switch. This turn signal switch is the one I like the most lately among the scooters I've tested. It's really easy to see and feel which direction you're indicating. You won't accidentally leave it on. You always know where the center position is. The whole thing feels really good, so I think this turn signal switch turned out incredibly well. And while it might seem like a small thing, believe me, it's not. In the center, we have an instrument panel, which, as usual, isn't very visible if the sun shines on it a bit. And actually, even though the sun isn't shining here, it's still not very visible unless I shade it with my hand. Manufacturers really should come up with something for this, because in sunlight, it's absolutely impossible to see. You see yourself in it just like in a poorly reflecting old and faded mirror. So there is definitely something that really needs to be done about this. Because if you could actually see what's on it, you would see everything from the turn signal, which also makes a sound, to the activated cruise control, to walking mode, to the battery voltage and the speedometer. Absolutely everything you need is right there. You can even see the level of pedal assist. It can be easily adjusted in 4 different levels. I don't know how well you can see it. So the pedal assist can also be set in 4 levels. So these are all really great features. The only thing you can't see is the dashboard, but otherwise it's really great. Another very important and significant point, which for me is again a huge plus, is that it doesn't have a thumb press throttle, but rather a twist throttle, which I think is much better because you can control the power, speed, and throttle much more smoothly with this kind of throttle than with a thumb press one. Now, let's take a look at the lights and see what they look like. I'll turn it on here. Oops, so we have a light in the front. This is a fairly standard light with 4 LEDs. It works perfectly, there's no problem with it at all. It's great that we also get position lights down here as well as on the other side. These are also clearly visible even when it's completely dark. We also have side lights located right here and here. And of course we have a rear light which also serves as a functional brake light. That's also really good. What would be even better is if our turn signal wasn't down here. So this side light is actually the turn signal, and well, I think they could have come up with something better than this, because for one thing, it's not yellow but red, and for another, it blinks on the side. For example, this scooter can't even be used legally in Austria, because in Austria, the turn signal has to be mounted at the end of the handlebar, which is missing here. Overall, I'm actually satisfied with the lighting. Well, compared to other scooters, it's obviously pretty good, so it's relatively visible. And if you're riding the scooter in the dark, car drivers can see you really well too. So from this perspective too, it's a pretty good little device. What else do I need to mention? Well, basically, I've already said almost everything. Maybe one more important thing is that you get a gift bag with it. You don't have to buy it separately. It's absolutely fantastic, very practical, and made of high-quality material. So that's another plus. And now we can continue with what it was like to experience riding this scooter. Well, the truth of the matter is, what I'm about to say is pretty strange, because this is a comparatively weak scooter, a scooter with relatively little torque. The top speed isn't crazy either, but you can unlock it, obviously. The factory set 25 kilometers per hour. If you unlock it, this scooter went up to 45 with me on it, but I won't show you that. I've written in the article how to do it. I won't show it, I never do, because I don't support unlocking these scooters. That's because this scooter is only really safe up to about 25 or 30 kilometers per hour. I don't recommend using it above that speed. But this doesn't just apply to this scooter, it applies to this entire category in general. So I don't recommend unlocking it, and I don't recommend trying to race around at 45 kilometers per hour, because neither the suspension nor the brakes nor anything else was designed for that speed. Let me start by telling you what I didn't like about it. Well, the thing I liked the least was this rear kickstand, and that's actually good news, because after all, this is a scooter. So if the worst thing is that the rear kickstand didn't turn out well, then I think we don't really have any major problems. The other thing I didn't like about it was the dashboard, but I've already mentioned that. You can't see anything on it in sunlight, but all scooters like this are exactly the same in this regard, just as bad. They can't come up with a proper dashboard, so they really need to do something about this already. What I also have to mention is that the handlebar height on this scooter isn't adjustable either. And for my 184 centimeters, this height is just about right. However, I think that at 190 centimeters, it's already borderline whether this scooter will be suitable because of the handlebar height. One thing you could do if you really want to buy something like this is to get handlebars that are curved and slightly raised, so you can increase the height of the grips. But if you don't want to bother with things like this, then I think you should stop somewhere between 185 and 190 centimeters in height. If you are taller than this, then don't consider this scooter. I mentioned the speed, right, that I don't recommend unlocking it, and I don't recommend it also because the width of the handlebar is not suitable for riding at 45 kilometers per hour with this. For that, I would definitely recommend a wider handlebar. So once again, this scooter is not designed for 45 kilometers per hour. Just like the other scooters in this category, they are not designed for that speed, even if they are physically capable of reaching it. Okay, but then how was it to use? Well, I used to have a scooter before, which was also a 500-watt scooter, just like this one. It was also roughly similar in size, and I have to say, out of all the scooters I've tried, it was one of the best and the one I liked the most. Even though it was relatively small, relatively simple, and relatively weak, it was still a really good, sporty, agile scooter, and this one is just like that too. So it was really a thrill to ride it on asphalt as well. I also took it deep into the woods, rode it around for a bit on dirt roads, did a little jumping with it, and did all sorts of different things I usually do with a scooter, and even some things I don't usually recommend. And the point is, I really enjoyed it, and in fact I actually rode this scooter a bit more than I usually do during tests. Because while I was testing it, I even used it to go to the store and everywhere else, since I genuinely enjoyed using it. This might also be due to the fact that, I have to say it again, it doesn't have a C-type suspension, and I can't emphasize enough that I'm not saying the C-type suspension is absolutely bad. However, what I can say is that in this scooter category, in this price range, I have yet to see a flawless C-type suspension. In contrast, these suspensions, with their very simple dual-sided mounting and shock absorption, are rock solid. Quite simply, they provide a level of confidence that I have never felt with a C-type suspension. So it may be a small scooter, it may be a weak scooter, and you might not be able to go up hills with it since 500 watts won't get you up hills, but as an everyday object, as a means of transportation, it's actually a particularly enjoyable to use thing. I think I've said everything. I've talked about the top speed, the range, and what it's like to use. We unboxed it, and I showed it from the outside as well. Overall, I can say that based on this test, this scooter definitely deserves a spot on your must-buy list if you're looking to purchase a scooter with similar performance. It's not too powerful, it doesn't want to kill you, it doesn't try to run out from under you, but it won't take you up into the mountains either, so you win some, you lose some. Its current price from an EU warehouse is around 180,000 forints, which is basically the same as its competitors in this category, so it doesn't stand out, neither cheaper nor dearer. So if you don't want to buy a C suspension and you feel that this level of performance is enough for you, then in my opinion it's worth the money, since you won't find a scooter with similar performance from another manufacturer for less. Let me say it again, I also wrote an article about it. You can find the article, or at least the link to it, below the video on YouTube. In it, I also explain how to unlock the scooter if you absolutely want to go 45. But let me say it again, you shouldn't want to go 45 with a scooter in this category. That's about it. I'll wrap up this video here, and I'll be back soon with another scooter review. Until then, take care, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment on this video, and come back to this channel. Bye.